together and started talking. Cousin Billy would take me walking. Out through the backyard we go walking. Then he looked into my eyes. Lord knows to my...
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Atheist Experience. I'm your host, Matt Dillhoney. Joining me this week, Russell Glasser.
Hi, folks.
We are live.
But one thing that you cannot answer, and I've tried myself, is your very existence. Where did it come from?
I came from my parents.
From your parents? Hey, come on.
I can show you my parents. Well, actually, you probably can't because they won't come on the show.
Why? Where did your parents come from? And
Their
so on?
parents.
So,
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you a question?
Look, all I want to do...
Where'd God come from?
I just finish, and then I'll let you go. Okay. You guys are tremendous. I'm trying to...
I'm trying to lose some, though.
No,
I'm trying to lose some weight.
It's true. And I think that you're maybe heading in a little, veering off in a little bit of the wrong direction, but I think you're going to be okay. That's my point. Now, go ahead and answer your existence question.
Before we do that, I mean, you know, okay, the whole veering off in the wrong direction. I mean, we're coming from two completely different directions. Russell was raised an atheist. I was raised Southern Baptist and was even studying to be a minister before I became an atheist. My question is, you're asking about to explain our origins. Let's assume, and I'm not saying that I can't, let's assume for a second that we have no explanation of origins. What justifies this outlandish claim that a God did it? If we have no better explanation, what makes that one win out?
I can't say.
Okay, so now, and I'm not just saying this as a cop-out. If there's no good reason to actually justify that God did it one, and we're in a position where we have no better explanation, then the correct answer is we don't know what our origins are. It's not I'm justified in believing that Magic Man done it. It's I'm not justified in believing anything. When we talk about...
Like Christopher Hitchens, he says, you know, he can't explain certain things. I mean, they're unexplainable.
I agree.
That's true.
There are certain things that we are incapable of explaining. We do have a good understanding of human origins, of the evolution of life. We have less of an understanding with regard to abiogenesis, but we do have good examples of how abiogenesis can happen by purely natural means, and we have a good cosmology back to Big Bang.
Okay, I think you're about ready to go off here. So can I just squeeze this in?
Sure.
Okay. Look, your question and your position is obvious, and it's very clear, and it's very rational, and everything like that. But I think that you just take it a step further. That's all I'm saying.
How so? I really, now, don't get me wrong, I really want to understand this because I know a lot of people, like my brother, by the way, is a perfectly, eminently reasonable person who's also a Christian. And in general, we've tried to have a couple discussions about it. We tend to leave it alone. And to him, he says things that are similar to what you're saying, that yes, the points are rational and justified, but there's something in him that just can't stop believing in this God no matter how ridiculous it may appear on the face.
That goes back to the sect, and I don't want to mention that sect because then it's going to look like I'm promoting that, and I don't want to promote that. But there is one that does recognize all of these things that you stated, and it's a more 19th century one, but anyway,
I'm just asking what okay. My only concern is the truth. I actually care whether or not my beliefs are true or likely to be true. I'd prefer to believe as hang on. I'd prefer to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. So what I need to do is develop a way of determining which things are most likely true, which things are least likely true, so that my thoughts are at the least risk of believing false things. So when you say that there's some justification for the belief in a God, I just want to know what it is.
It's your ability to love, to touch.
How is that proof of a God? The existence of something is not proof of its cause.
God is just short for good.
Oh, well, okay, then we agree.
All right, then I believe in God now, because I believe that there are ways to judge for yourself whether things are good or bad. So if God is just another word for good, then I believe in God.
However, if your claim is that God is just good, why the hell did you start with this explain your origins? Because goodness is not an explanation for origins.
No, the issue is that he needs soldiers.
Who's a he? Good is not a he. Good isn't a he. Good isn't an entity.
As far as we know, good doesn't have a penis. I mean, you can't...
you can't say that God equals good and then go right back to personification.
And anthropomorphize it.
Penis is just a euphemistic term.
Okay, so you really didn't mean that it was good. You were just trying to avoid the question that I asked when I asked what reason was there for believing it.
No. God has to have truth. He has to have soldiers. He has to have people that are going to follow him and do his deeds and do the good.
How do you know any of that?
Let me finish, please.
No, not please. I asked a question that you can't answer, and you come back with something that's even more outlandish, that God needs soldiers. If you won't answer the first question about why you believe that God exists, at least answer what makes you think that God needs soldiers.
Okay, because he's needy.
How do you know this?
Because he's my father. And my...
Really? Can we call him?
Sure, my father needed things. He needed to clothe his children. He needed this and that. And he needs people.
As needy as we are for calls on Super Bowl Sunday, and as much as I appreciated a lot of things you had to say early on, and I think there may be some great discussions afterwards, you're doing nothing but continuing to duck the questions and then making more assertions that are even more outlandish. So on that note, I'm going to let you go, and we're going to go on to another caller. But if you come up with a better point or something that answers the question, not just the reason why you believe, but the reason why you think somebody else should, or why this should be. I mean, we're talking about shared truth here. You come up with that, feel free to give us a call back this week, next week, email, whatever. But yeah, we can't keep asking questions and have people dodging and ducking like that.
And as needy as we are for calls this week, if God does want to call into the show and say hi and